Coming up in this Fincast, a rare-ish tetra. It's a great schooling fish, but I got to tell you, the Ewok village is optional.
I use the Chemipure Elite and Nuvo 16, and a couple teaspoons in a bag on each side, and change it out like once a month, and it just keeps everything pure and clean. No phosphates, everything's good to go. It's pretty much a worry-free system because of the Chemipure.
Take a look at the Gold Tetra. Just remember, sometimes it's silver. And what is the deal with the Lego set? Hi everyone, John here with another Fincast. Today we are going to look at the Gold Tetra. I'll tell you about the silver part, and I also, if you notice in the background, we'll talk about the Ewok village that's in that aquarium. And for the record, I do know that that's actually called the Bright Tree Village. For all you Star Wars fans out there, I grew up with it too. That was home to the Ewoks on the planet Endor, right? I think I got that right. But Lego calls it the Ewok village. And that's the actually what's set up inside that aquarium. So once again, this is an aquarium set up at the Global Pet Expo 2016. Fish vendors come from all over the country, and these aquariums are only set up for 3 days, and they like to have a little fun with it. And somebody obviously spent a lot of time putting together the entire Lego Ewok village set and then using that as the background for these fish. And it was really cool, and a lot of people were talking about it, and it just goes to show how creative people can be with their aquariums. And personally, I like driftwood and plants and rocks, but other people like other things. However, I will say with the Lego, I would not want to be the person who had to clean that aquarium. Once it had been established for 6 or 8 months. There's a lot of little grooves and a lot of cleaning that would have to happen there. But there were a lot of people remarking about it, and it was kind of cool. Let's talk a little bit about the Gold Tetra. This is a very small tetra. It's recommended for nano aquariums, and it does very well. It's a schooling fish, and you shouldn't just buy one of these because it'll just get lonesome and stressed and sit off in the corner. It won't do well. You need to buy a number of them. I looked up online some of the online retailers, the famous one, Live Aquarius. I think they're charging $2.69 for one. So, figure you're going to go in there and drop between 10 and 15 bucks and get yourself a group of them. The fish will be much happier and they'll look much prettier in your aquarium. But I also talked with some of the folks from Segrist Farms who were describing to me that the fact that this fish, when you catch it from the wild, comes in one color, and if you get the ones that are raised in ponds, once they get to the United States, they're actually another color. So the wild ones are gold, and the aquacultured ones that are raised in the ponds in the United States are silver.
The wild fish actually develops that color through a specific type of bacteria. It doesn't pick the bacteria up as a captive raised fish. So what you wind up with when you raise this fish in captivity is just a small kind of silvery gray fish. Only the wild caught counterparts are truly that metallic gold color.
Now, this is probably way more than you ever want to know, and I won't go into too much detail, but about why the gold ones in the wild are gold and why the ones that are raised in ponds here in the United States are silver. But it comes down to there is a parasite in its native waters in South and Central America called a trematode. I think I'm saying that right. And that's a parasite that can attack this fish. So the fish actually secretes something called guanin, and the guanin keeps the parasites off and turns the fish gold. So that's the deal there. If you want to make sure you have gold ones in your tank, you'll need to talk to your local dealer. This is not a fish you're likely to find at a big box store like Petco or PetSmart. You're going to need to talk to somebody who has a relationship with Segrist Farms, and they are one of the biggest suppliers in the United States, so it shouldn't be that hard to find, and ask them to see if they can find you some wild-caught fish.
As I mentioned, it is a wild-caught fish. So initially, they're a little bit more delicate to water parameters than, say, a farm-raised or tank-raised fish would be. They're going to like a little bit softer water with a little bit lower pH. As far as their adult size, they stay really, really small. I wouldn't expect them to get much more than an inch at most, but probably would stay under an inch as an adult. I would say that is a little bit more of a specialized fish. That would fit into the category of nano fish. Which is a growing segment of the aquarium industry, but hasn't fully made its way into some of the bigger chain pet retail stores. So I would say the Gold Tetra is still a little bit more of a niche or hobbyist fish.
So here's a little bit more information about the Gold Tetra. It's considered a fish that's maybe a little bit more difficult to keep than the typical run-of-the-mill tetras that you would find at the local pet store. They are going to be happier in an aquarium that has only other small fish, an aquarium that is well established. I wouldn't set up a brand new aquarium and go out and add a bunch of Gold Tetras to it. It would do very well with neon tetras or green neons and some of the other smaller fish. Woodwork and floating plants and dimmer light are recommended with this fish. They don't typically need plants as the interior decor, but you can do a planted aquarium. Twisted roots, driftwood, those would be typical of what they would find in nature. So if you're trying to set up a tank that's just perfect for these fish in particular, you can do that. And I'll put some links to some websites where folks even talk about creating some tannin-colored, tea-colored water and that kind of thing if you really want to go all out and create a biotope for these fish. But basically, you're looking at an intermediate fish here, very small fish. You do want to keep it in a group, as I said, probably in a 15-gallon tank. It's peaceful. It won't bother any other fish. It likes a temperature of 75 to 82, and at the most, this fish will be 1.5 inches long. So I hope you enjoyed this Fincast on the Gold Tetra, complete with its own Ewok village. How often do you have an opportunity to see that, right? And again, I pity the person that had to put that whole thing together, but it really did look impressive. And if you saw, it was spanned over several aquariums. They did a really nice job with it. There's actually a couple of other fish that we may be taking a look at in the future there, including a kind of an interesting Cory catfish you may have noticed in the background that has very long fins and is also extremely rare. Segrist tells me those sell out as soon as they get them. So that's something else that we'll be taking a look at because I know how popular Corys are. So I'd invite you to click around a little bit, take a look at Fincasters. We've got a whole series of videos on marine fish, some stuff on corals, planted aquariums. Click around. I'm sure you'll find something that you like, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Please do leave me a comment because I love it when you do, and I'll see you in the next Fincast.